Hello, hello, hello. I'm here. Change the music out. I always like to start with just a song that, like, adds. Bump it down ever so slightly. Soft, not overbearing. And we should be good to go. I'm Gramoose. Hold on. Back. Back to normal. Never check, but I must have written something with a number in it. There's a set to numbers. Bad boys. Bottles. How is everybody doing? Hope you're all well. I personally feel pretty good. Just had a break today, just chilled out and did nothing, which was excellent. Felt like I really needed that after the exciting but exhausting week that I had. Interesting start to a song. That old like 90s movie kind of like wispy tone. Very weird. Hey, who am I to deny that? Right. Should really be adding the shadows to the bits. Bunting for all the stands. I'm learning new stuff every single time I come back to the comic. I'm like, oh, this actually looks really good. Why haven't I been doing it for the other pages? Didn't know, I'll be honest. just erase it. Erase the mistake afterwards. It works better. Easier. Yes. I am also currently working on a brush set to make my life easier, in the drawing process. So that's something I'm really looking forward to. Just making my life slightly less difficult. And I mean for like vegetation and stuff like that. So I'll be drawing out plants and things, and there's nice vegetation in a lot of the panels to come. Not currently because I haven't drawn them yet, but for the most part, there will be these adjustments. To work on the highlights. I want this beneath the shadow. Saves me some time. So it shouldn't be really that big of a thing. Okay. So as you can see, different shape. This is because I have actually made a brush for highlights. So here on, highlights are going to look slightly different. We'll see if I like them or not. It may just be shite, and I'll be like, yep, cool, dumping this idea. But I definitely wanted a kind of softer looking highlight space. And slightly more like oil paint style. And so far, I really like this. It's subtle, but it's a nice kind of addition. Yeah. And I can kind of vary the level of opacity and vibrance of the highlight, which I really like that I've got the option to do. Whereas before it's like, this is the one layer, like this is the one level and that's it. You cannot go lighter or heavier than that. Deal with it, idiot. And that was it. This is great. It's Halo music. Right. Talking about Halo yesterday. What are the chances? Pretty high, as it turns out. Now let's make it bigger. I like that. I like it a lot. Trying new things out, figuring out what works for my like comic, what doesn't, and yeah, excellent opportunity. Might not work so well for this particular, but we'll see. I'm also going to try and work a little harder, or not work a little harder, but make a greater effort to maybe not put so much emphasis on backgrounds. So I might work on more simplified backgrounds, just because it's a single background you see for one frame, not worth putting too much effort into. Otherwise, you'll just burn yourself out. And the quality can only be appreciated for so long. So Yeah, that's pink. Pink of a, well, highlight anyway. Yeah, I actually really like the fact that I can kind of choose between whether I want a hard or um, soft highlight. Maybe I should be implementing this with my shadows as well. In that, then I can choose whether I want a hard shadow or a soft shadow. They be classic cinematography friend Rick. There you go. I can. Oh wow, my voice just broke. Like hell. He's but then I can also make like fake shadows and stuff, false shadows, or much softer false shadows. Kind of cool. Nice. Okay, I'm happy with that. Touch a texture table. Yeah, build up reflections, make false reflections. By false reflections, I mean just reflections. They're just reflections. They're not actually false. Just as real as the other reflections in this comic. Nothing is real. Wonky ass line. There you go. Slightly better. Not great, slightly better. Oh, jeez. In a second. Jeez, I can't fix it with this brush. I like adding these little flips of color into Ratchet's eyes. It's nice. It's a nice thing. Shouldn't have zoomed in while I was looking for eye light. A, then to the left. Where am I? Where am I? Right there. Oh wait, right, I know why. No, why. Nope, I don't know why. Probably because it appears on a different layer. That shows up. It should do. Should do. Just. Oh, it doesn't. Weird. I'm altering settings. Everybody, don't worry. If I care for the glow. Yeah, I don't. Oh, hey, Zombie Slayer. Give me a moment, just making a minute alteration, and then I will look at that message. And then brush size increase. Let's give him an actual, like, eye reflection. Oh, jeez, I'm zooming in too far. There we go. Alright, gamers, here on this day, we have been blessed by the gods of internet and the gaming heavens. Or the gamming heavens. Oh, no, that is gaming. There's no E at the end of that. Above to watch the official art ambassador of Twitch. Oh god, that's a big title. He is the savior of the gamer community. He saved gamers imprisoned by EA and other greedy corporate publishers. You know him, you watch him, you nerd out with him, fellow nerds. Let's make some noise for Lord Greymass. Greymass, Greymass. Get louder, he can't hear you, Greymass, Greymass. I love it. Thank you for the very kind introduction, Zombie Slayer. How are you? What's up, Mr. Mouse? Not much. It's drawn. I'm doing well. Had a good restful day. So, just doing some more sketches. Cool. You're well, and myself. Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Very chill. And got speech bubbles to add. Not writing in them today, but I got speech bubbles to add. Yep. This is so much more convenient than what I was doing before. For those who don't know, is that how it did? That's weird. Oh, that's how that works. Weird. Awesome. Okay, I have learned how to make splines. So Lord Greymouse, you don't need to call me Lord. I'm just Greymouse. If you wouldn't mind, please do explain how we mere mortals can complete such accomplishments that you have done throughout your extensive gaming career. Wait, what? Complete what? complete achievements. I would have, like, anything. I've not done much, really, gaming-wise. Just a gut and just a mouse. Just a mouse hanging out. Best gaming achievement I've ever done was, so if you guys know about the Harry Potter GBA game, there was a what's it called? A Quidditch mini game in which you had to like catch a butterfly and in order to get um like trading cards and stuff. And I caught the butterfly in like 3 seconds. That's probably the best achievement I ever got. Oh no, not even 3 seconds. I think I got it in 1 second, which is like um basically you can only get it through a glitch basically where you just like spam catch the moment the game starts and then you can catch it like immediately. They'll call you Lord Greymouse because I mean you're a lord and your name is Greymouse. That's your Lord Greymouse. I ain't a lord of shit. Um some days I'm barely a person. Most days I'm barely a person because I'm a mouse. But speaking of, that's that panel done. We got a little speech bubble for Ratchet as he's exclaiming something. If you guys want a little bit, this is a little bit of a sneak peek into the comic itself. It's a little bit of a spoiler, so don't go telling anyone else. And those of you who are watching the recording, don't go telling people this little secret spoiler. But Ratchet is saying, "Yippee!" That's it. That's a cool thing to do. So the game started and you got it instantaneously. Yeah, exactly. I was like, I need to get this. And it's like, like spamming it before the mini game started. And it had like the 3, 2, 1 countdown. And then all of a sudden, like, it lets you loose, but Harry just catches it instantly. And I was like, yes, I got it. I win. And then in order to get the trading card, you actually have to beat your previous time. So as a result, I just soft locked the game. Yeah, he's just like, yippee! Except probably doesn't sound like that. I mean, he maybe sounds a little bit like that. I may have spoken too soon about it being done. I need to add just some motion lines because I missed out on them. Just gonna zoom in. Ratchet's moving relatively quickly, so let's add some motion lines here and there. That doesn't look very good. Very hard to see the black motion line, so I might just add some quickly. Then a few like white motion lines as well. I like them because they're high contrast. They do really stand out. And when mixed with the black ones, they kind of help as well. That's fine. That'll do. That'll do it. That's that panel done then. Pop it into finished. And then we turn on the just hilariously rushed and fastly sketched draft panel so that we can look at what we do next. So the next panels to go are 3 panels, 3 quite close-up panels, so they should be ideally pretty quick. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on a wicket. Check. Brush size 37.8. Bit of maths. Bit of maths. So I'm gonna do that all. Gonna end up inadvertently covering over one of the panels, 37.8. Hold on, I've got a number stuck in my head. I need to make sure it's written down before I progress any further. I did the wrong thing. Classic gray mouse. There we go. Back to it. Where did you get the butterfly in the Harry Potter game? It was like a Quidditch minigame. I just typed in a bunch of numbers, so as a result, I bounced between different models. Classic. That's how I've been doing it. I wasn't even paying attention, but that's how I've been like changing models because obviously I've been typing in numbers. Where did I get the butterfly in the Harry Potter game? It was like, yeah, a Quidditch mini game in the GBA game. Oh no, so I know what you mean. I know what you're like correcting me about. It is usually the golden snitch. In this GBA game, it was a butterfly. I don't know either. What did I just do? Oh. Yeah, I don't know either, but it was a butterfly in this game. Like I completely understand what you mean, and you would be right to correct me. Uh, usually, however, yeah, it was actually a butterfly in this one. I want separation from this. Just there we go. Maybe not that much separation, but you get what I mean. There we go. Better. Oh, really? Because I was thinking, how did you win in Quidditch by getting a butterfly? Stupid zombie moment. No, 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 that's not your fault. You are correct. Like, you would be correct in that it was like in Harry Potter, it is the golden snitch. However, in this GBA game, it was like training, like Quidditch practice, and they referred to the snitch. No, it wasn't even. They didn't refer to the snitch. It was they were like, you have to catch this flying Kazapalos, and it was like that's a butterfly. That's very clearly a butterfly model. Yeah, yeah, it's practice. I forgot to mention that. Yeah, so you're completely right to have that presumption, to assume that I meant snitch. Line work. Ow. Now, Dogen doesn't normally look this goofy. We're gonna have to fix that. Zoom in a little more. Mouse out here getting all the butterflies since he has infinite riz. Oh god. No qualms, like no issues with you, of course, but like, or with you saying it. But I'm just like, oh, Riz, man. I'm from the generation just beyond Riz, so I'm just slightly too old for that term. So I'm just like, oh, absolutely fine to use whatever language you're comfortable with, but like my brain is just like, oh, this man. I got no Riz. I'm just, oh god, I can't even believe I said that. I'm just trying to live my life more so than anything. I'm actually going to draw his ears that big. You'll make a list of Dead Space content you should watch, play, read right now. That'd actually be great, yeah, and be sure to drop it into the Discord. Well, fair. It's not your generation. As a 22-year-old, you cringe at the thought of using TikTok. That's fair. Well, then you're not that much younger than me, really. So maybe I'm only just slightly out of the Riz generation. Or maybe I'm in the Riz generation, but I'm just too, like, um, square. Too much of a square to use it. Could be one or the other. Probably the latter. That is actually dope. Yeah, jeez. I just come back to my, like, sketches and stuff, or my drafts and stuff, and I'm just like, I really drew this. What was I doing? Like, I knew I was like, oh yeah, it'll be a problem for future Grey Mouse. But I never thought I would be like that consistently inconsiderate for myself. Ah yeah, he'll sort it out. That idiot. And then it comes to the day where I'm actually doing that, and I'm just like, I don't know how the fuck I got away with just drawing this incomprehensible garbage. Great. Being my own worst enemy in my own illustration. Excellent. Oh, that line's there. Looks a little shocked. Yeah, a little bit. Hey Lumen, how you doing? I'm working off of the old draft, so as a result, Dogan looks like a big dumb idiot. Which is a little bit of fun to work my way through, but it's very funny as well. Very stupid, because he just looks like an absolute dingbat. Let's get these eyes right. Dogan's got to look mysterious, charming, not stupid. Or not completely stupid. You look a little stupid. Yes, he's been attacked with a spoon. Ah, that's a good reference. That actually everyone in our Discord will kind of get. It's a bit of an inside joke for y'all. Thank you so much for resubscribing as well, Lumen. Very kind of you. And subscribe for 4 months. That's insane. Like, it's insane to think that we've been at this for 4 months, right? Appreciate the support as always, and it's lovely having you here. Of course. How have you been? How was your weekend? Been good. Hey, that's good. That's lovely to hear. Yeah, not too busy. Okay, Lord Grey Mass, the list is in Discord. I appreciate it very much, Zombie Slayer. Thank you so much. I'll check it out after stream. See how this looks before I settle on it. Back home after a week in Sydney. Damn. Yeah, that would have been very interesting. Busy week. Oh, how was Sydney? Sydney's can be a bit of a bit much for me, I think. Might move this mouth lower. Would you play the Dishonored 1 DLCs on stream sometime? I'd love to play through just Dishonored on stream. All of the Dishonoreds. But yes, I will say yes. I'd play through Dishonored 1 and then do the DLCs, I think. And Ted must have been very happy to see you guys after heading out to Sydney, or getting back from Sydney. Well, Lemon. Wow. Ugh. That's alright. I always just like, ugh, at my own work, but I'm like, it's gonna look great. He actually came with you guys. Ah! It was not a good trip. Family issues. Glad you're back now. Well, then, that is good to hear that you're glad you're back. I'm sorry to hear that you sorry to hear about the other stuff, of course. Ted, the national traveler, though. That's good. How was he? Was he like well behaved? Knowing my cats, I would say that'd be pretty tough. That'd be tough to take a cat around. That's all right. Logan doesn't have an upper lip. He has a lower lip. He was stoned the entire trip. Ah, well, then that works. Sydney, as in P. Sherman, 42 Wallaby Way, Sydney. What? Oh, you drugged him before you got into the car. That's fair. That's fair. P. Sherman? That sounds like a Sydney reference I wouldn't get as an Adelaidean. It's from Finding Nemo. Neiman? Jesus Christ. Maybe I have had a long day. Neiman. Finding Neiman. Mouse out here having one screw keeping everything together in the old noggin. Well, you know. What can you do? You can't always have it together. I said from my very first stream, me not good at talking. Me no good to do talk. Just me no do it, you know? Me no do it. I draw pictures. I can't be good at everything. That actually wasn't that bad. The line. I erased it because I'm a fool. And here you are doing something that requires talking. Yeah, I know. I know, right? What the fuck was I thinking? Streaming on Twitch? But you know how to talk. You know no talk good. You brain go weird when you draw. Cannot think. Can only mouse. Correction. What are you thinking? Of course. Because ultimately, I choose to speak on Twitch. I could just not speak. Then where would you lot be? Lost. Aimlessly wandering the depths. Twitch. Trying to find a talking mouse streamer. Silent stream? Yeah. I would just be silent. Quiet, desolate mouse drawing. It would be peaceful, but how entertaining would it be? Probably not very. And I mean not very for you guys. I'd have music. Can you imagine? Start streaming. I'm like, I'm not going to talk on Twitch at all. And then just going ahead with that. I am where I am now in the comic, but I've like not said a single word, and people are just like, we're really trying very hard to make this mouse talk. And he just won't. Just refuses to. He's completely muted. He's never bought a mic in his life, and he hasn't needed one. At 100 followers, I do a voice reveal. Oh my god, can you imagine? To be fair, you've muted yourself multiple times. On stream, yeah, I have once done like a 30 minutes of a stream, and then I didn't realize that I was muted, so I was just chatting. And I was like, it's weird that no one's responded yet, like to anything I've said. And then it turned out that I was just like, oh, I just muted. I've just been muted this entire fucking time. I was so embarrassed. It was really funny though. And then people are redeeming rewards that requires you to talk because people want you to talk that much. I mean, be great for my analytics, but it would be such a terrible like streaming model. You know, it's like, come on, you gotta talk. You gotta talk a little bit. 100 bits per minute of talking. Holy shit, that feels so exploitative. Should have done that. And then I'd be on like streaming news, and they'd be like, this VTuber mouse exploits his or her audience, for Twitch redeems. No one knows what they sound like. They get like a private messenger in their Discord anytime they redeem a chat. Yeah, that's better. It's slightly longer finger. That makes sense. Just doesn't sort of look right. Short and stubby fingers. Nah, that is weird. Is weird. Nice long fingers. Ayy. One. There we go. This one feels a bit thin. Yeah, could you imagine? I'm just like, I'm trying something new on Twitch. Revolutionary new way of streaming. And then next stream it's like, mouse will not speak unless it's reward. Like, what the fuck? The hell does this guy think he is? Charging for talking? It's this guy. Who's that like influencer who was like charging 10k for a just direct DM? Be like her. Massive Dishonored 3 ever comes out, what do you think of going to Pandacia? You've said that part to me before. I know we've talked about it before. And for us to replenish our mana bar, we drink magical water from the rivers, lakes, pools. Where since there most likely wouldn't be elixirs there. Yeah, we've chatted about this before. I would be super keen to do a Dishonored 3 in Pandacia. And I talked about the potential of it being focused around someone not from the royal family. I thought that would be quite cool because then we get a perspective from like the ground up. 10k for a DM, never heard of that, but I'm not surprised. I think it was like, I can't remember her name exactly, but I think it was like Emma Chamberlain or something like that. And she was charging like 10k for just a DM. And people got really like up in arms about it, which like they rightfully should. But it's like she's at a certain level of wealth where she's just completely lost connection with, the common audience, really. The common man. She's not, a voice of the people anymore. And you said, what if someone screws over the main character and leaves them there to die, right? Yeah, exactly. Like could be an expedition and they were just abandoned and left to die for whatever reason, probably political gain, but like, which is absolutely fine with me. But like, yeah, they were like left for dead in Pandacia, and they like make contact with the magical origins of things like the Outsider and the powers that get like the origins of what gave the Outsider his power. She's very out of touch, just as much as American news media. Yeah, like a lot of news media is quite out of touch. And just a lot of, those early day YouTubers and stuff, they've kind of lost connection with their audience, which is a bit sad, but it's also the sort of thing that's bound to happen. Money and power, it corrupts. It corrupts completely. The only thing I think protects you from that is being aware of it, like self-aware, and knowing that, oh yeah, this money and power will change me, but I can decide how it changes me. And even then, it will still change you to a certain extent. keep your dreams humble. You know, you gotta be humble. Your dreams and stuff. I have no intentions of making a shit ton of money or being famous, because that kind of responsibility to do the right thing with that kind of power scares the shit out of me. And hey, now look at me, rich and famous, Graham House. What's in his eye line? Trees and stands. A meme you saw once was growing up watching your favorite YouTuber become a clout chaser, and now you have to unsubscribe from them, and the pictures of a guy crying, pointing a gun. Oh yeah, like that little. Oh yeah, like the. I know what meme you're talking about. I know like the image. Yeah. And yeah, pretty much. I watched like the rise and fall video of Tobuscus or Toby Turner, and that's distressing. That's a distressing video to watch. Anyone who knows Tobuscus, seeing what happened to him, it's like, ugh, feels really icky. God, Toby, haven't heard from him in ages. Oh man, I wouldn't go looking at that. But for those videos, it's rough. It's really rough. You're correct. You heard that Dishonored 3 wouldn't have Emily or Corvo be the main character. I think that's what you heard. Yeah. I don't, I think at this point, Corvo should probably be just dead at this point. Was it from Sunny V2? If we're talking about the video of the rise and fall of Toby Turner, no, I can't remember what his name was, but I think it was something stunning with a J. But even so, I think like those kinds of videos are all fairly similar, because you just collect the information and then report on it. It's very sad to hear. Corvo should be dead unless we go back in time, or it's not that long after 2. Sure, that'd be cool. I wouldn't be against like a prequel or a prequel DLC about Corvo when he was like a young man in Karnaka. That would be kind of cool. But I'm also saying like if we didn't get that, I wouldn't be too bothered. It's no issue to me. I adore the Dishonored games, but I'd also be like, if they never made another Dishonored game, I'd be like, okay, that's absolutely fine. You can have too much of a good thing. And personally, you don't know if you want Corvo in 3. Obviously, he's cool, but let the man live out his retirement and stuff. Yeah, exactly. How many times can he be Dishonored, How many times can a man be Dishonored before they just go, okay, let's just, he's clearly not responsible for this. This happened to him too many times. Dishonored is a unicorn game for you. As much as it was loved, you just could not get through it, which is fair. I definitely don't think it's for everyone. And I've heard plenty of people didn't enjoy it, which is also fair. It's genuinely just not for everyone, and that's fine. I can respect that. And yeah, I loved both 1 and 2, but I could also be like, if they were like, we're not making another Dishonored, I'd be like, okay, it's fine. You know? I do not mind. If they explore Pandacia, cool. But I also think if they explore Pandacia, I think there shouldn't be another one after that. Just because you can run a game into the ground doing too much. That's just what I think, though. There we go. Ugh. Ugh. If there is a 3, then let him living a humble life, or if not, then that maybe he teaches future royal protectors, but don't let him be the main character. Yeah. I'll be honest. I would just say don't involve him at all. I think like since we're at a point where Emily's been the empress for a very long time and he had grey in his hair, let him just be not involved. Straight up. There's actually one thing I can't stand is that like constant nostalgia baiting. It's or profiting off of nostalgia. I don't like it. I do not like it at all. So I would just say like don't have Corvo in it at all. If you want to make more Dishonored, that's fine, but move on. If they make a game and if it's in Pandacia, then that's cool, but you don't think there should be more games after that. You can run a game into the ground, COD Halo. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you don't want to go too far with it. You know, you can have too much of a good thing. Dishonored is a very beautiful and fun game in its own right, but also there should be a point where it ends as well. I think those stands don't need to be that close. I actually don't need anything there at all because there's going to be a speech bubble there. But if you're being honest, you'd rather have the games we have now, uh, plus a Dishonored 3, and let's just say 3 is an absolute banger rather than rolling the dice with future games they may or may not, and they may or may not be awful games. Yeah, exactly. Just if you want to make a 3, sure, but after that, maybe don't make anything else in the Dishonored universe. We've done too much already. And because they have alluded to Pandacia being a like mysterious continent, they would have to be super careful about how they how much information they give away about Pandacia, otherwise they will ruin it anyway. If they don't make more games, then in your opinion, make comics and such to flesh out the world more so. Yeah. Yeah. You can expand on the universe and stuff like that. Yeah. I don't think we need 100 games to understand the world of Dishonored. And even if the future game's good, we all know that the game will be milked for money, and you hate seeing that. Yeah, we all hate seeing that. It's unnecessary. And it can ruin an entire franchise. Yeah, just don't do it. So if 3 is an absolute banger, then that means Dishonored had a mostly positive reception, and you'll take that any day over COD style games. Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Like, I think mixed and mostly good is way better than constant and mostly terrible. Mouse, if you could create a Dishonored power, what would it be? Oof, that's a tough one because the good ones that you want to say already exist, I think. It's not your idea, but someone else had an idea of a power that would stop time, but only within a certain radius of your NPCs. So if your NPCs can step in and out of it as they go from time being stopped to time being normal. How would that work, though? Because in theory, people could step into it, but they couldn't step out of it. Time is stopped. But people could move other people out of it. Well, the person who uses it could move other people out of it. But then also, that feels like it would, bad wording on your part. That's okay. That feels like it would still be more complicated as well. Purely because I don't know if it matters the like radius of that ability, because it doesn't stop movement, it stops time. But time isn't relative to distance. Like, I get where you're coming from, but yeah, it would be quite, that feels like a complicated thing to understand in my head, especially while I'm drawing. Yeah, I see where you're coming from as well, but Dishonored powers seem complicated already. They are complicated, yeah. My only consideration with time is just that it's just time. And we got the time, and we've got the slow time ability, which slows time. That would stop time, as I understand it. Which would be a very useful ability. And you're right, there is probably other cool ideas for powers, but all the good ones have been taken already. One I've thought about as we've been speaking, and in relation to the one you told me about, you have the ability to slow time down, just drop your phone accidentally. Oh, yeah, no, that's a good one. The ability I thought of is that you don't stop time, but you freeze people. In that, like the ability, like the monolith, in Dishonored 2, that Emily has, that like monolith that distracts people. But basically, it's the ability is not theoretically freeze time, but you freeze the space and movement of people in your peripheral and focal vision. So as a result, so whoever you're staring at, so basically it would be like Medusa's stare, but you freeze people for a period of time. So if you're in a big, so in the idea of, or in the framework of Dishonored, you're in a big fight and you're completely overpowered. So you freeze everyone in that space that you can see, which doesn't actually negate you from being able to be attacked from behind or from people who are out of your vision. But you have a moment of breathing room to create. Yeah, that's cool. So you're sort of kind of like Medusa. Yeah, it'd be like a Medusa stare kind of thing. So you have the ability to create breathing room in a firefight, but it doesn't keep you completely safe from everything else that you can't see. As long as you can visibly see someone, it works, right? Yeah, that would be the idea, I guess. That is the idea in theory. Yes. That no longer works with. Ugh. Perspective. But it'll do. Well, not it'll do, but it works. Oh, that's a draft layer. What would happen if you couldn't see someone but they are like far away? Would it only work if you zoomed in? I guess there'd be a certain radius to that. That time radius ability is in D&D. Ah, no, I hate it. Just, it feels like a complex. Is that? Actually, I'm not even gonna pretend. I don't know. Like, I love D&D, but I also feel like I never know enough about D&D anymore. Fell behind in my D&D understanding. You've always wanted to get Dishonored tarot cards. Those seem very cool. Even just to have, that would be cool. That would be cool. I have Disco Elysium skill cards, which are kind of like tarot cards, but slightly different. D&D is so complex because they're constantly making rules and abilities. Yeah, they're just constantly adding stuff, and I'm just like, fuck. I'm so far behind now that I'm just like, I'm good. Like, I enjoy the imagination part of it, but I don't like the rules of it anymore. I've slowly fallen out of love with the rules of D&D, or the rule set. And I don't care for the whole idea that you should be following these rules because they're the official rule sets and stuff. It's like, it sucks. It's too much, and I don't want to feel like I have to be forced to buy all the books and stuff. When Follows Guide to Monsters and the core rule set books work it well enough for me. That's too far tilted. Warranty. Wow. That was definitely not going to be a word. Roaring trees. There's also Dishonored 2 whale oil lamps. There's one that's the whale oil tank that lights up the stuff. And since Dishonored is based off that Victorian era, there's a lamp that actually looks like it would be from the real life 1850. That's super cool. I like the whale oil lamp a lot. And I'd love to pick one up. I'd love to get one of them for sure. The fun thing is, Wizards of the Coast is basically like, listen, here's rules for everything. Also, here's the ability to make your own rules. Do what you want. Do what you want. That ends with fun. Yeah, and that's great. That I like. Don't make shit complicated for me. I want to just be a goblin rogue. Stabby stab stab stab, you know? I'll admit I may have a friend who's a bit of a rules lawyer, so that can sometimes make things a little harder, D&D wise. I find that, like, being really strict to the rules kind of saps the fun. Mouse, what do I think of Dishonored NPC wars being available on all platforms possible? So, you could spawn in 7 wolfhounds, 4 tall boys, and 10 magic users. I am not bothered. Honestly, it doesn't bother me at all. Like, I think that's a cool novelty, but I don't know if it matters. Really, you know. As a DM, you usually just follow the rules that you remember. No. Kane is a rules guy that picks up on stuff that you miss, and you overrule to rule if it means fun. Yeah, and that's a great model for D&D. I think rule of cool and rule of fun are the best rules. I DM my office campaign, and I often adhere more to the rule of fun than to the rule of awe. And I do that in my general life as well, and that's why I'm in trouble for tax fraud. You like the thought of it, but you want it in games that most people want it in. So if most people don't want it, then that's fair. Yeah, that's fair. I don't think I'm super bothered about it. Like ultimately, it'd be a heavy drain on consoles. And if the devs don't feel it's like important to the core experience or anything like that and leave it out, then I'm not gonna give much of a shit. Either way. You love the rule table for dwarf throwing. That's great. I love that they've included that. Love that that's included. You only know of that from Lord of the Rings. Is that where it's from? Probably. I would not be surprised, actually. Those Wizards of the Coast, they love stealing shit. No, it's okay. No. No, it started from Lord of the Rings, then someone built it in 5e. Yeah, that makes sense. Oh, jeez. A messy. Hate it. Hate it. That'll do it. I was also supposed to add some, what are they called? Uh, Not debris, but like floating leaves. Leaves on the wind. Can add them after. Back to the previous panel, but later. Okay, Mouse, I'll relate this to Dishonored, but have you played COD Zombies? No, I haven't. The Dark Souls. I know this music. No, bitch, they stole the music. Dark Souls. I mean, those of you listening, recording to the VOD, nothing. There's no music playing. Don't know why I antagonize my VOD viewing audience. I'm so sorry. You're all lovely. Watch me say that as I antagonize my wonderful audience. If you wanted to get the full COD Zombies experience, then you have to pay $500 for all games. Yeah, fuck that. And for all DLC, and since there's 4 DLCs for each game, it's quite a lot for one game. So in the future, give us the Dishonored games and DLCs for a cheaper price / free. Yeah, I guess so. I don't know. I think at a certain point you just gotta stop making games. And if you're releasing multiple DLCs, that doesn't mean that you're releasing multiple. I don't think, like personally, if you're releasing 4 DLCs, I think you're releasing an unfinished game. And then the remaining parts, or just, having a money grab, or committing a money grab. I'm not about it. Hide a DLC. Genuinely. I do not care, about COD Black Ops 3 has majority of zombie games and all the maps modded. The old school ones anyway. That's good. Keep releasing a game. Skyrim hasn't entered the chat. Well, not anymore. They haven't released it for a while anymore. Wouldn't surprise me if they tried. Well, actually, I don't think they will try again. I think they're done. They've done every single... They've tried their best to milk that dead cow. Or beat that dead horse. But yeah, I think it's over. That's right. There's custom zombies. Well, it has released a bunch of times. Yeah, it has. But I think it's done. And it's annoying. Annoying that they've done that, not just made a new game. But also with how well received Fallout 4 was, it wouldn't surprise me if they're kind of getting cold feet about releasing the next Elder Scrolls. There we go. Nice. Probably completely unnecessary to add that much detail, but yeah. No, I was being sarcastic. Zombie Slayer. Fallout 4 was received well, and no, it wasn't. From what you've heard about it, it doesn't seem fun, but fair enough. People liked it. No, I was being sarcastic. It wasn't received well at all. And that's my point, is that it wasn't received well, so Bethesda are probably pretty apprehensive about releasing another game. Apologies, my sarcasm was maybe a little too subtle there. I'll do it. No worries. Cool. I got people as well. We go to flat colors. Oh, that's a lumpy shoulder. That's a terrible shoulder. There we go. I think if Bethesda switched to Unreal Engine and stopped trying to be Ubisoft with their gameplay loops, they would have they would have revolutionary games on their hands. Absolutely, I agree. There's some great potential with Bethesda games. Um, they just need to like pull their fucking heads out of their asses a little bit there and actually make an effort to make games as opposed to games for the sake of making games and not tick boxes for what consists of, like what you have in games. You should be trying to make something that you want people to enjoy. Because you were going to say, considering the game gives you 4 different ways to say the same answer, it doesn't seem like much fun. Yeah, no, it's not. They completely like stripped down a lot of what made Fallout great, and it didn't pay off for them. Like, it really didn't pay off for them. Open. Yeah, there we go. Let's keep that real simple. That's why Fallout New Vegas is your favorite of the Fallout franchise. It is a classic. It is incredible. I will say that is the one game that has 4 DLCs that are worth the money. Because also they're not that expensive, but also because they're incredible. The DLCs for Fallout New Vegas are just absolutely incredible. I'm actually planning on getting a New Vegas tattoo at some point. It was made beautifully well only because Obsidian had to do their best since they were a smaller company, but regardless, it's your favorite. Yeah, for sure. Obsidian flopped with the Outer Worlds. Yeah, you have more expectations for Outer Worlds 2 over Starfield, funnily enough. Yeah, I think they can. I think Obsidian do a good job at making a good story, and they can do quite well. But I think, yeah, we've had a bit of an epidemic of pretty meh to underwhelming kind of games lately. So I'd like to see some good stuff come out. Doing my children's drawing, coloring in style. Eh. There we go. Pretty basic. That's how I color stuff in. Terrible. Mess. C minus for me. Shit. Dang it. No soup for me? No soup for mouse? Don't know about me, Mouse, but when you first saw follows Chalk in the Honest Hearts DLC, you straight up killed him since you didn't know he was crucial, and then you shot your way to the objective and realized, wait, there's so much you haven't missed because you killed that guy. Oh, there's so much you haven't missed. You have missed because you killed that guy at the start. Yeah, I didn't do that, but yeah, it's such an incredible series of games or series of DLC that are really great if you play them in like a specific order, because you like piece together the existence of Ulysses. Spoilers. You piece together the existence of the courier before you, who turned down the delivery that you ended up taking, and then learning that it's a part of something much bigger, and there was you like unearthing the bigger conspiracy. Talking to your brain in Old World Blues is pretty fucking cool. Yeah, I liked a lot of Old World Blues. It's a very cool concept, and the idea that science did survive after the war, but at like such a great cost and detriment that many of the great scientists were, though still alive, completely lost to time. Haven't played Dead Money? That you need to play. Yeah, Dead Money is the best. is the best of the DLC. Holy crap, it is incredible. That's the one I'm getting a tattoo of. Dead Money. The Sierra Madre Casino. It's so good. Genuinely so good. Old World Blues felt very sci-fi and just full send and just go from there. Yeah, it was great. And it didn't take itself too seriously as well, which was excellent because you slowly delved into the other DLCs and it got slowly more and more serious. But it didn't feel out of place either. Like the seriousness and the serious nature of the later DLCs is welcomed because it's been preparing you for it. And it's just like, oh, feeling the weight of my actions and the actions of my predecessors and those who came before me, you know, and piecing together, like, genuinely piecing together the story of Dead Money is tragic. It's tragically powerful. It's a really tragic story, genuinely, as you'll find out once you play it. But holy shit, it's so good. Holy shit. And then you even talk to light switches. That's quite weird, but you don't fucking care. Please tell me more, light switch. Yeah. Yeah. Old World Blues is great. It doesn't take itself seriously, and there's a bit of levity to it. To all of it, which is so good. So good and very welcome. He's pointing his penises at us. You there, lobotomite. I need you to do something for us. Fallout 3 and Vegas DLC is top tier. Oh god, yeah. The actually, here's a really good Easter egg. So I wasn't like, I enjoyed Fallout 3. I wasn't like, once I played Fallout 4, I was like, cool, I'll just play not Fallout 4, Fallout New Vegas. Once I got Fallout New Vegas, I was like, cool, I don't need 3 anymore. The DLC, once I got the DLC for 3, I really enjoyed Mothership Zeta. But my favorite of the DLCs had to have been Point Lookout. In Point Lookout, like, Point Lookout is such a great DLC because it is so grim and dark, and I really enjoyed its storytelling. Then you talk to your brain and come back to your brain, but your brain says something like, "No, I will not. Being shot at every day and filled with radiation isn't fun at all. I'm staying here. It's quiet and peaceful." Yeah, yeah. He just doesn't want to go with you, and who can blame him or her? But yeah, Point Lookout's my favorite. And for those of you who know of the reference, Punga, my assistant, is named after the punga fruit from Fallout Point Lookout. Cheeky little Easter egg to the stream. Point Lookout felt very who the fuck lives here and why. Yeah, it's great. It's so good. The pit is also great. You're just like, oh, it's Pittsburgh. And then it turns out to be a nasty fucking hellhole. Like this hellscape that's slowly killing you. And everyone who lives in it, you know. Oh damn, that's a cool Easter egg. Now you can't get it out of your head. Well, Punga. Yeah, that's what I named Punga after. The Punga fruit from New Vegas. Because I found him on Point Lookout when I was last there. That's where he was born. On the radiation-filled Point Lookout. And people in the pit turn into trogs, thus they kill their loved ones even if they don't want to. Yeah. horrifying, grim, powerful. I love it. And then in Dead Money, you have the enemies that are known as ghosts, and they are genuinely terrifying. They're completely silent, like creatures that will sneak up on you. They wear gas masks, and if you have the Wild Wild Wasteland DLC, not DLC, perk, then you can find some graffiti written by one of the ghosts that asks if you are their mummy, which is a reference to Doctor Who. Fallout 3 felt like people could live there, but it'll take a lot. Point Lookout seemed genuinely dead. Yeah, like completely hopeless. A hopeless space where the people who did live there were permanently changed. I know exactly what you mean. I've got just a little bit more color to add. These are the same colors because color theory is weird. Also cool. Damn, Wild Wasteland has some cool ass Easter eggs. Yeah, it's great. They're great. I never play Fallout New Vegas without the Wild Wild Wasteland DLC. Not DLC, perk. It's the best. It's so much fun. Have you guys played Metro Exodus? No, I haven't. I actually would really like to. My brother really enjoyed the Metro games. You like Mothership Zeta, but only for the loot. In your opinion, it should have been much, much shorter. That's fair. I know you haven't. You have to get back. You have to get back into Metro as a whole. Must play. 110% recommended. It's like a gritty, semi-linear Fallout. That's cool. I'll play it. I'd be keen. I'm keen to play pretty much any game I haven't played yet. I'm at a stage now currently where I'm actually looking forward to playing games I've never touched before. And I've got stuff like Control lined up to play on stream, which I'm very excited to play. And we may even just stop playing Dark Souls just to play Control because it is a game I've never touched before. Whereas Dark Souls I've played before, and it may not be quite as enjoyable for everyone to see me come to a game I've played, 100 times before. So, felt that way. Mouse, have you ever defeated Leggett Lanius with 100% speech? Yeah. Oh yeah, easily. I mean, it's the easiest way out. Way out of that situation. I've played Fallout New Vegas so many times. I've killed him with guns. I've talked him down. I have gone to and from the fort and taken Boone with me to kill just Kaisar. And yeah, I've done it. I've played Fallout New Vegas so many times that I've probably played it not in every single way, but in most of the ways that you can. It's great. Love that game to bits. And would probably play it again, but I'd need a good reason to. Itching to play that DLC again, I think. But I do love New Vegas because even though it's silly and doesn't take itself too seriously, it does almost feel more heavily consequential than Fallout 3 felt, in that no matter what decisions you make, they feel like they have weight, and you may end up poisoning a whole town or civilization because you want to help someone else. Or you might, your decisions end up having consequences and larger consequences. And that feels important. Your favorite part of New Vegas is that depending on your stats, Doc Mitchell will say something different. But or the Vault Tech guy says the same thing. But in 4, the Vault Tech guy says the same thing. Great, so you'll just take this back to the vault, and that already killed your drive to play 4. Yeah. Yeah. Fallout 4 is a bit like, it was very self-referential. It just works. Yeah, it was very self-referential, I think, but in a way that didn't make sense to me. In that it has the GOAT test. But just to get into like one of the areas, and it's kind of boring. It's like, it's such a boring Easter egg that could have been so much more interesting. You're right. In 3, if you be a good character, the talent company so sure be good, but there's a cost. Yeah. Yeah, well, even like being good, like it was still like meh in 3. Because it was also very easy to just be good in 3. It was just like, okay, cool, these are just like the right moral decisions to make, and they end up working out for me, and the only consequence is like, if I'm too good, the talent company will come after me. Wait, what's a boring Easter egg? When they give you the GOAT test in Fallout 4, they do the GOAT test, which is from Fallout 3, your aptitude test, or where you would fit in the vault. But they kind of just do it randomly as a test to see if you're a synth or not, or synthetic or not, before you can get into a small town, like a small gated community. And it's like, this doesn't work here because like it doesn't say anything about who I am as a person. The test was originally designed to decide my aptitude for a role within the vault, like my occupation that I will spend the rest of my life doing in the vault. It doesn't in any way indicate what kind of a person I am. But they use it for that, and it's like, this doesn't make sense. This is fucking bullshit. And I didn't care for it. Whereas, you in Fallout New Vegas, you can literally turn on Easter eggs, which is the Wild Wild Wasteland perk, but it has Easter eggs to things that aren't from its own like games. It's not self-referential necessarily. In what's it called? The Lonesome Road DLC, one of the Easter eggs is Seymour from Futurama, Jurassic Park, like the Jurassic Park episode. That's one of the Easter eggs, and that's excellent because not only is it just a great like Easter egg, it's the dog from Futurama, from that, heartbreaking story, but also it very clearly indicates that the game designers understood and knew what was popular at the time and made that an Easter egg, not going, hey, remember us? Remember Fallout 3? Remember the GOAT test? It's not a means to reference some like older and slightly better content that you made. It's an opportunity for you to have fun with your community. You like the Indiana Jones fridge with the skeleton inside of it? That's excellent. Yeah, that's so excellent. Because again, they fully understood their community, and they were like, oh yeah, everyone fucking hated Indiana Jones, that Indiana Jones movie, and the fact that he got into a fridge to survive an atomic bomb. Hey, this game has atomic references is about atomic war. So let's put a body in a fridge. It's great. Yeah, it's a really good Easter egg. That one too is great. In 3, it felt like either a piece of shit or a not piece of shit. In New Vegas, it feels like, sure, I can be good, but that means I won't be good to someone else. Yes. You most likely know this, but there's a quest in New Vegas where you find out why is this area getting, yes, less water, and you figure out it's a deserted NCR soldier giving some of the water to Freeside. Yes, but if you let him keep doing that, NCR farmers lose their jobs since they have no water. Wait, the goat test was to test if you're a synth, really? You never even thought of that. It's not. No, no, no. It's the goat test is designed to figure out what your aptitude is and your skill and ability for a role and occupation within the vault. Fallout 4 uses it as a means to test whether you're a synth or not, and it doesn't make sense. It's almost like a 2-layer reference. So it's like a reference to Blade Runner in that it's like, here's a Myers-Briggs test to test whether you're human or a robot, but in such a self-referential way where it no longer references Blade Runner, it just references Fallout, but with a test that doesn't make sense. Yeah. Oh, you mean Fallout 4? Okay, small brain moment. That's okay. That's chill. You got it in the end. That's all that matters. Trying to think of the other references in New Vegas that are like, oh great, that I enjoy. The many Monty Python references are excellent because those are definitely dated, but still very funny. Because they also fully understood that the generation that are playing Fallout New Vegas will be aware of and will have likely watched the Monty Python movies. So there's that, and I love them. And that's why it's one of your favorite quests in New Vegas. Yeah, it's great. It's got real weight to it, which I do love. I love a game with real tough decisions, real tough moral decisions. You do a playthrough of playing with the Legion, but that means you're an objective piece of shit and don't know if you can do that. Yeah. Yeah, siding with the Legion is tough. Because they're nasty. They are nasty people. But I do love that, like, the NCR is also just not the right way to go either. There's no way of reforming Vegas by siding with the NCR because they are just, their resources and means is just stretched so thin that they can't actually even support defending the Nevada, like the Nevada desert, the Mojave. The Mojave Desert. So it's like, it's really fascinating to watch because it's like, if you don't pursue an independent Vegas using Yes Man, then you're not actually going to help anyone, or you're not going to help the citizens of the Mojave. You're just going to put another like power structure in place that will make changes, but changes that won't be universally beneficial. And it's such a fascinating thought that you just can't help everyone. You want to be a hero, but you just can't help everyone. So you got to be in the moral grey. Like me, Grey Mouse. King of the moral grey. Someone said if New Vegas 2 comes out, they want their playthrough of New Vegas to carry over so that way whatever you want to be canon is canon. Can you agree with that? if New Vegas 2 is released and the NCR control New Vegas, then that means your playthroughs of keeping it independent don't matter. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. If it like, and that would add like a huge amount of replayability, which I do like. Just including that potential for replayability is so useful and important for a game that should be so deep that it requires multiple playthroughs anyway. Let's do that. That once I've finished filling in this color, I still have deep purple. Purple haze. And the NCR have too many of their soldiers in their states back west, thus they cannot control New Vegas, patrol the roads, give merchants an escort, or fight the Legion. Yeah. Yeah, they're too stretched thin. Seeing the potential future behind that would be very interesting. I do love, of course, the Yes Man wildcard playthrough. It's so good. It's just like, not my fault Benny didn't program, like, not my fault Benny didn't allow me to say no. Benny, what a fucking idiot. He wanted to control Vegas, designed a robot that would help him in whatever means, well, in whatever way he wanted, but never designed him in a way to differentiate between Benny and anyone else. So as a result, fucked himself over. He like completely fucked himself over because anyone could use Yes Man to control New Vegas. What a ding dong. The NCR is more so of yes, they're pieces of shit, but it's more so that the politicians are. The people are pretty decent, and even if they aren't shitty people, they cause more problems for others, but only because it gives them less problems or makes them more safe. Yeah, well, it's surface level change. The NCR conducts surface level change in New Vegas because they lack the resources to commit to long term or substantial change. So the people are good, yeah, of course, but temporary and expendable. It's about holding land for politicians. And now that the world is starting to recover from the fallout, it's no longer about survival. It's no longer about survival for the politicians. It's about land control and resource control. Whereas for most people, it is still just about survival and surviving as best as you can. Random fact about Star Wars, that's why most people hated the Jedi since they only made surface level change. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And they were never even really supposed to either, because the Jedi were not politicians. They were peacekeepers. Or they were supposed to be peacekeepers in their religious doctrine. But due to
the way the world turned, and the fact that the Jedi were some of the strongest beings in the galaxy. They gained control, and slowly their way of life was lost to power and prestige and responsibility. And I do find that I find that to be a very fascinating concept. The idea that responsibility corrupted the Jedi and corrupted what would be good. So not even necessarily power or control. It was the responsibility given to them from people who were vulnerable. The fact that they could protect these people led to the downfall of their order because they did not have the resources to meet the responsibility. And I do find that fascinating. As a story prompt, it's very interesting. Even if people hate politicians, then they will get their jobs taken away, shot, killed, robbed, and if you're in the military, then you'll be trialed for court-martial. You'll be court-martialed and shot by a firing squad, so they still have to do something, even if it's not smart or not good. Yeah, there has to be change made. I get what you mean. Whoa. I think when it comes down to it, I'm talking about that in a story sense. In that, like Frostpunk, in the Fallout universe, was surviving for so long on survivalism. Fuck, you love New Vegas. New Vegas is great. You like that bit of like political intrigue and stuff like that, I would highly recommend Disco Elysium. Basically builds a world upon a a series of political systems that are, in a sense, homebrew, but also relative to the real world. So you can't actually have completely new, thought out, like, political systems. So they have communism and fascism and stuff like that in the world, and those are political ideologies that they talk about and address. But it's really fascinating to um, see a world depicted because you exist in Revachol, which is like a city that was basically abandoned by the Republic of their world. So it is controlled by the Republic and overseen by the Republic, but because of the the recent war, it has basically been abandoned and left to rot and decay and fall away because the Republic doesn't have the resources to maintain it. However, it still falls under the doctrine of, not doctrine, the rule of the Republic. So there are still laws in place, and if those laws are broken, then the law has to get involved. And you play as a detective of the militia, which is basically the Republic's police. And you have to solve this mystery, but then eventually, like slowly, it becomes more and more evident that the solution or the answers to this murder are actually right there in front of you. However, the political discourse and the powder keg that is the nation of Revachol is so much more complicated and mysterious to navigate, and that itself becomes the mystery. And it's incredible. It's like incredible storytelling. Spoilers. It's not spoilers. This stuff is like the surface level stuff. I haven't explained anything yet. I'll do a playthrough of Disco Elysium. I adore that game. But it's a lot of reading and a lot of words. But then there's objectively good decisions, like telling the NCR ghoul in Camp Searchlight that there's a NCR outpost with ghouls you can still serve and not be discriminated against. That's true. And that's nice because in the real world there are decisions that are just good, morally good. universally moral. Oh, good lord, that's dark. I guess you're playing Disco Elysium. Thanks, Mouse. It's so good. I so heartily recommend it. Um, the yeah, genuinely, and there are characters in it who are like harsh and standoffish and brutal. Like basically, you'll walk up to them and they're like, "Fuck off, you piece of shit," and then you're just like, "Huh, oh my god," and then they end up being like your best mate once you learn and understand the world and learn and understand like the nature of the world. And then there are characters who are very polite and cordial with you, and they answer all the questions that you ask. But then you slowly realize, oh shit, these people, these people specifically, the polite, um, you know, friendly on the surface level kind of people, these are the ones you cannot trust. Either you guys played Wasteland 3. I have not. No. And I genuinely adore that game so much. I'm getting a Disco Elysium tattoo really soon, actually. I love that game. That game is so good. So good. Once you get through the writing, it's so good. The game also got me into cryptids. There's a character who's not one of the ones who's like super sweet and polite that can't be trusted. Um, but there is a woman in that game who's just a cryptozoologist, and she's really lovely, and she teaches you about cryptids, and I'm just like, ah, I love you, woman. You're the best. You're so sweet, and she talks so excitedly and passionately about cryptids, and I was just like, cryptids sound amazing. And then I fell down a rabbit hole about cryptids. You do want to play Disco? Keen to play? Yeah. Oh, I can never not recommend the game. I recommended it to someone who was at my work, who was almost twice my age, never played a game before, and I was just like, halfway through me explaining what the game was about, I'm like, I feel like an idiot explaining this to you because I know you'll never play this game or anything like that. But I was just like talking so passionately about how much I enjoy the game and what I enjoy about it. Because it's just amazing. Just an amazing game. Ugh. Got slightly disoriented by the background as I talk about Disco Elysium. The art style is also incredible, so if you like art, which of course you all do, you're here. But if you like art, it's really good. Also, a lot of European accents in it, which is really nice to hear. They're not all British. There is an Australian accent in there at points, which is super cool. Your lizard brain talks in an Australian accent, which is incredible. But there's French, there's Polish, and like voices and accents like that, which are really lovely to hear in a game, and in such a good, like in such a well thought out game as well. That's very random but very interesting. Yeah, no, oh the accents in this game are so good. You get a few like kind of American-y or journalicial sounding accents and stuff like that, but then you have like accents that are very regional, like very European, like regional. And I remember I had a friend who played it because I, took their ear off about playing it and how much I loved it and stuff like that. And he heard, so your partner's name is Kim Kitsuragi, which, based on the name, you would assume that he would have a unique accent. He has a French accent, but it's dialect. It's like a dialectical accent, so it doesn't sound classically French, but it has twangs of French, and then verbiage that is different. And he went, "Is this guy trying to do a fake French accent because he's not doing a very good job?" And I had to tell him, I had to say, the voice actor is French. And the game really like shows us how much we assume about accents, I think, as well, because like you'll get a character who sounds interesting and you're just like, oh, is that like, you know, a Polish or a Netherland, like an accent from the Netherlands. And then you like look it up and it's like, oh, it's just regional uh England. And you're just like, oh, I did not realize. But it's really fascinating. At the very least, it's really fascinating to me. Yeah, we do assume how accents sound. Yeah, it's such a common thing that you'd like we do like really assume. And we have this kind of set idea of what an accent would sound like, even though we've probably likely only heard a few versions of it ourselves. So when we hear French, there are many regions in France. And we more readily accept stuff like accents like Cockney and Royal pronunciation, which is English, like both English uh, dialects and accents, but we forget that France has more regions than England. So they're going to sound different. Getting all the Blue Star bottle caps in New Vegas was interesting to say the least. Oh yeah, that was, ugh. Nightmare. Nightmare. First time I played through, I couldn't even find Festus. And then I realized he was like right there. In the sarsaparilla bottling factory. Didn't even see him, I just walked straight past him because I didn't think he would be in a cupboard. Fucking cowboy bastard. But I also love that mission because it really pulls the rug out from under you. Oh, hello Farky. Welcome to my channel. Hydrate. I can do that. I do need to hydrate. Good. Posture check. I can do that too. I need to do that. Sit like a prawn. Welcome, welcome. Oh, to do a bit of a stretch too. Can we see your art? Of course. Of course, let me zoom out. So we're currently on page 4, so this is what I've done so far. Hey, hyena. Good soup. Oh. Don't expect any. He has no art to show. That's true. Yeah, I got nothing. Thank you so much, Farky. That's very kind of you to say. A wild hyena. Hyena's here. Everyone, be on your best behavior. Hyena's here. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, I am Grey Mouse Inc. I am an Australian illustrator. Worst behavior. That's right. Yeah, that's fair. Change of plans. Everyone be on your worst behavior. I am currently working on a comic called Ratchet and the Beanstalk Brigade. It is a D&D based comic following the adventures and exploits of a Ratchet, the goblin rogue. So it's this little guy. This is our protagonist. This sweet bean. We are getting very, very close to the end of chapter 1, which will be released on Tapas as soon as it's available. But until then, you get to watch great streams of me filling in color and chatting about Disco Elysium, Fallout New Vegas, and Dishonored a lot of the time. So welcome. To anyone new in chat, everything Mouse just said is all fake. If anything, you drew this comic. How dare you? How dare you, Zombie Slayer? Yeah, Zombie Slayer is the actual artist. So speaking of, he's gotta do his stream soon. His fill-in illustration stream. Can't wait to write the story of your comic. Great. Oh yes, and for those who don't know, on the Yakult Discord, Lumen very generously is also filling in the blank speech bubbles and storyline pieces so that none of you have to wait for the comic to be released. It is all there. It will all be there available. So you're all very, very lucky. Lumen being generous. Yeah. Bloody Lumen, he's on it. He's just so on it. He like I don't even tell him the storyline, he knows, and he just fills it in. And he's always right as well, which is scary. Sorry for telling the fucking truth, Mr. Mouse, if that's even your real Twitch name. Well, it's definitely my real Twitch name. My real name is Gary. Gary Musway. That's my full name. I've doxed myself, but that's probably fine. No one's gonna mind. No one's gonna mind if I dox myself. Y'all good with me doxing myself for a moment? Yeah, you're fine with it. Yeah, Gary Moisse, yeah. That's my name. That's why I go by Grey Mouse. I almost actually said my real name that would have not made any sense. I would have been like, that's why I go by it, and then my actual name actually doxed myself. I'm really like dumb as well. Hyena and Farky, like this is like how I am. I'm a dingus. I can draw good, but I can't talk good. My brain not work well. Yeah. Yeah, Lumen's also like just great at predicting stuff. He's a bit of a oracle. So I always like to wait and see what he's like written out for the comic, and then I'm like, oh, that's good. I might steal that. That's a sick ass name. Thank you. Yes, it's the name my mother gave me. Was born and she said, this guy looks like a Gary Moisse. Our last name isn't Moisse, but his is going to be. This kid looks like he'll really like mice when he's all grown up. Bartholomew Lumenson. Yes. Nubus Lubus. Be doxing everyone. Yeah. It's only right. I've told you all my names, so you guys have to dox yourself. I don't make the rules. That's your Hebrew name, damn it. Of course. It all makes sense now. So to everyone new in chat, what do you think of my new comic that's shown on stream? Ah shit, I'm on the wrong fucking layer. I mean, Zombie Slayer's on the wrong fucking layer. Needs more spoons. It does need more spoons, doesn't it? Zombie Slayer, you better get on that. One of the comics of all time. I love that. That's really like, that's a very diplomatic answer of you, Hyena. Very respectable. The comic of this year. Love that. Certainly a comic. Definitely of this year. Definitely one of the comics of this year. For sure. No doubt. That's blue. Damn it. Ooh. Not your comic. It's your comic, dumbass. Jesus. It's your responsibility to put more spoons in. I love it. I love how, like, quickly, like, on a dime you turn, you're just like, you're an idiot. It's your comic. If I play into your joke, you cave. I love it. I critique it, and he's just like, no, I'll not have this. Not my comic, I didn't draw this. Can't draw anything. Save me life. Can hard. No. Maybe slightly too mean. I'm gonna leave that. Rusty spoons. Tell you what, as a kid, salad fingers really freaked me out. That reference, by the way, for those who don't know, rusty spoons. I assume you're talking about salad fingers, but salad fingers freaked me the fuck out as a kid. Burnt face cam was better. Yes, sir. Yeah. Oh, burnt face man was better. Well, you're not wrong. You are an idiot. Damn, for the first time, Mouse said something truthful. Well, there was that one time he did told chat he stole my comic idea. Tell you what. Oh yeah, I have done that. You're not Lumen. Wait a second. You're not Lumen. I don't steal your ideas, I steal Lumen's ideas. I'm fully ready to admit that I steal storyline ideas, but it's certainly not from you. I steal them from Lumen. That guy's got great ideas, and they're really easy to steal because then I can just send him a copyright strike because I'll get it done quicker than him because he's an artiste. Fun fact: Burnt Face Man was made by the guy that made Salad Fingers. Holy shit! Also, where the sound bite "Take that crime you shit" comes from. That's interesting. David Firth. Ah. To be honest, Salad Fingers was genuinely terrifying. It's not how scary things looked, but the eeriness of it all and how weird it was. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. It was really weird. You write a patent on all your ideas. Creepy vibes for show. Love it. That's fair. It's definitely like, I can definitely see where the appeal is for sure. It's because it's also pretty funny. And as an adult, I do get it. Like, I do get the appeal. But as a kid, I was like, ah, shit. It's creepy as fuck. Lumen does write a patent for his ideas, but I usually get in quick because he really struggles with ellipses, and there are like ellipses in words and stuff. So sometimes writing the patent can be a bit of a struggle. I felt like I was really like dunking on Lumen, and I didn't want to. I didn't want to. You bastard. Yeah. Takes him forever to get to the patent office, whereas I live in the patent office. I just steal his ideas. I'm like that guy who bought McDonald's. Mouse will scare you more, the cover art for Bioshock or Salad Fingers. The cover art for Bioshock scared the shit out of me too. You like being creeped out and spooked. Horror movies seldom do anything for you as an adult though. Oh yeah, that's fair. I as a kid I was very easily frightened, as Zombie Slayer has signified. I had nightmares about the cover art for Bioshock, but then the Xbox 360 cover art for Bioshock 1 scared me so much it gave me nightmares. Yeah. And so it's not surprising that Salad Fingers scared me as a kid. So here's something I'll also admit. I've never watched Friday the 13th. Not Friday the 13th, I have watched that. Nightmare on Elm Street. Never watched Nightmare on Elm Street, but the idea of Freddy Krueger coming into your dreams at night and killing you scared me so much that as a little kid, there were many nights of sleepless rest that came about because I did not want to fall asleep and be murdered by Freddy Krueger. Never watched a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, but the idea of a creature coming into my dreams and killing me scared me so much that I didn't sleep sometimes. Anytime I remembered Freddy Krueger was a concept that existed, I was like, cool, that night I'm not sleeping. But to answer your question, Zombie Slayer, I think Cover Up for Bioshock probably scared me more. I don't know why. Maybe because Salad Fingers was like a cartoon, so I was more like I wasn't afraid of him, but his like presence creeped me out so much that I couldn't watch his like episodes, I guess. Yeah, Hyena's getting a really good introduction to me as a streamer and as a person, really. Very easily scared. Now as an adult, not easily scared at all. I'm actually I like going to watch horror movies and stuff like that. Really bad with horror games, actually. Still really bad with horror games. But that's the best content, so people love watching me get freaked out by horror games, so that's good. I played through Dead Space, and everyone had a really good time watching me freak the fuck out. And like go catatonic sometimes out of just sheer fear. Good time all round. Good time had by all but me. That's why he never played Dead Space. I literally just said that. Yeah, I'm a lurk. Gotta go shop before it closes. Fair enough, man. Thank you so much for jumping into the stream. Really lovely to see you in my chat. Dead Space is awesome. I fully agree. I'm in love with that game now. It took me a bit of a moment to get around the fear, but I love it now for sure. Have fun at the shops. I don't know why my voice went real weird there. Hyena gamer. Later game. Oh wow, 2 hours. 2 hours and 33 minutes. That's good. That's a good amount of time. I'm gonna keep going. Don't know how. Actually, let me just zoom out. Oh, like, got quite a bit filled in. We'll hold out a little bit longer. Let's go for the 3 hour mark. Dead Space is awesome, said the guy. Said the streamer who never played Dead Space. Mate, you're on thin ice. You're on bloody thin ice. Don't make me take away that VIP. Watching the game is living vicariously. That's true, yeah. And that's how I did it. Too scary. It was just too scary of a game, so I had to just. I popped on a YouTube video and then I pretended to play it. Oh god, can you imagine if I did that? That'd be. Oh man, I would not be happy with that, actually. If I found out a streamer just put on a YouTube video of someone playing it. Ugh. Livid. So now, if anyone looks back and finds out that I did do that, I've got a scapegoat because I said that I would be livid if someone did that. Perfect. You're on thin ice. You've never been ice skating. You'd love to go. Well, you don't ice skate on thin ice, mate. You'd know that if you've been ice skating, but you haven't. So admittedly, that's on me. I love that in my head I'm just like, one more thing, and then I'm just like, just Zombie Slayer says something, and I'm just like, that's it, and then you like see your little like diamond disappear. But I love the idea of me actually like losing patience with you, as if I am even like losing patience with you. My favorite like kind of thing, like a police officer who's like interrogating a guy, like a witness or a criminal or a suspect or whatever, and like the criminal says like the most, you know, pretty basic diversion tactic or whatever, and then the cop just goes, "Shut up! I'll frame you." You love ice skate. Yeah, I just love being a prick. You're very welcome. I know. I know. Don't worry. I'm not actually threatening to take away your VIP. I do not mind being dunked on. I just love the idea of like the potential. Like, I love pretending to be losing patience with you. I think that's just as funny. In my own head. Lumen likes ice skating. Melbourne's great for ice skating. Ah, fuck. Haven't seen snow yet in Adelaide, but keen to go ice skating. Or skiing, actually. I'd be keen to go skiing or snowboarding at some point in the near future. Police officer, sir, do you know why I stopped you, driver? Well, I don't know. Maybe it was because you made me fucking stop, dumbass. I mean, yes, that would be a good answer. But I love the idea of a cop just going, "Shut up! I'll frame you! I'll fucking frame you!" Slamming his hands on the table and just going, "I'll frame you! Cooperate! Do it!" And then they're just like, "God, bad cop?" And he's like, "Nope, crazy cop." "Shut up or I'll end you and I'll make it look like a bloody accident." Cat in the Hat. I love that you've specified. Like, I fully get where the reference came from, but I just love that you specified because this is like, it's so brutal, and that's such a good, like, such a good bad movie. Holy crap. Cat in the Hat is like a fever dream of a movie. Holy shit. It's funnier with the quote. Oh, absolutely. It's like so much funnier with the quote. It's so good. Three-hour mark. Yes, baby. Getting close. Slowly building up my streaming tolerance. But 5-hour streams get slightly easier. I'm doing well. Doing well. Because Beanstalk Week is coming up, and I can't get tired out by 5 hours streaming. Gotta go for the full 7 or longer. Oh, can you imagine? I'll get there. Gotta build up to it as opposed to just do it. To be honest, looking back at the Cat in the Hat, was like being on a weird acid trip, but not even taking acid. Yeah, it was super weird. Very funny. Like, weirdly, like, the only two Dr. Seuss, like, movies that were made during that time, both are very weird, but I think we can all agree that the Jim Carrey Grinch one actually still, like, remains quite loyal to the source material in a way where it's like it's weird, but it's like it's still a coherent story. Whereas Cat in the Hat's like, oh my god, it could almost be a horror movie. It's so all over the place. Spy Kids 3D has that same acid trip feel. Oh god, yeah. Has that early 2000s 3D graphics. What was Robert Rodriguez thinking? That shit, holy crap. And like, just the horrible 3D. But I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say it. Spy Kids 3D, maybe Sylvester Stallone's best role. Unpopular opinion, I know, but this is a hill I'm willing to die on. Cat in the Hat humor didn't even feel like fart jokes and middle school humor. It was just full send and go from there. Yeah, exactly. It was like crazy. I think I remembered playing a drinking game with my friends, and we had a Cat in the Hat bingo card, and you would take a shot every time it like happened, and some of them were like genocide joke or racist humor and stuff like that. Like, oh wow, yeah, this film really didn't age well, but it's also so fucking weird. It still is fine. And you know, you sound like a heretic, but you've never seen the Jim Carrey Grinch movie. Fully accept any hate. No hate. It's not for everyone. It's still super weird, but it's like kind of fine. Like it's a tolerable movie. It's not something. It's like something you would maybe watch at Christmas, depending on who you were. But yeah, not terrible. A hill you're willing to die on is that Adam West Batman is best Batman. Depends on like your upbringing and the like environment in which you knew Batman, for sure. Because like I know I personally wouldn't agree, but that's fully fair enough. Adam West is a great Batman, so I got no qualms, even if I wouldn't necessarily agree. Another hill I'm willing to die on is I think they should stop giving Adam Sandler money to make movies. Because I will let you all know that Hubie Halloween is maybe my, well, not maybe, is my absolute least favorite movie ever. I hate that movie so much. It helped me come up with a concept, a film-based study, or not study, theory. Um, but I fucking hate that movie so much. Adam Sandler is just having fun. He doesn't expect people to watch it. Lumen, I love your beautiful heart that you are willing to see the good in everything. But holy shit, have you watched Hubie Halloween? Because if you have and you enjoyed it, I don't know if we could be friends. No, that's not true. But holy crap, I hate that movie so much. George Clooney Batman has a special place in your heart for two reasons. One is bat nipples, fair enough. Isn't that two reasons though? Bat nipples, two nipples. On the bat suit and the fact that George Clooney himself said he's the last person to talk about Batman. Doesn't talk about Batman. That's fair. It's the running joke that it's like it's Hubie Doobie. We get it. His name is Hubie Doobie, but everyone calls him Hubie Dubois. And it's like, no, just shut up. I could hate this movie. It's my hell. It's my actual hell. If I die and go to hell, it's literally going to be me sitting in a theater watching Hubie Halloween, and there's someone sitting beside me chewing popcorn really loudly, and I'll be there forever. There's just a demon chewing popcorn really loudly, and I'm just having a nightmare, like, time, really bad. The seats are, like, kind of sticky. That's my hell, and it's just Hubie Halloween on repeat. The Water Boy wasn't awful. That's fair. That is a fair point. If the devil was feeling kind, he'd give me a little bit of respite, and he'd put on Cat in the Hat for like maybe 3 eternities, and then back to Hubie Halloween for my continued suffering. Oh yeah, and an arsehole 12-year-old who keeps kicking my seat. Yeah, oh my god, yeah. That would be hell. You're right. Zombie Slayer, that would be hell. Oh, and someone in front of me who's got like the phone light on. Like who has their phone light on. Because I was going to say someone taller than me. Old school Adam Sandler movies. Yeah, those are great. I'll admit, those are pretty good. And I will say, I watched it recently. Not recently, but like relatively recently. But Click is still pretty okay. Not great, but it's fine. You know, it's alright. Talk me down, Lumen. Talk me down. And the only reason why we know time has passed is because it's the time cards from SpongeBob 1 eternity later, 3 weeks later. Yeah. Yeah, it's all just ugh. That's my hell. Oh, and like there's like an intermission every like 4 or 5 eternities, and I go out to go pee, and the like it's all occupied, or um yeah, they're like no wait, they're all out of order except for one, and the one that's not out of order is being used, and I have to stand there and just wait, and I just hear someone shit. Like I have to listen to someone shitting, and then like once they're done and they come out and I'm ready to go in, like the little like theater attendant comes into the bathroom and goes, "Oh, the movie's about to start. You have to get back to your seat. Grey Mouse, return to your seat." And I'm like, "No, I haven't shit." They're like, "It's fine. You don't need to shit." And I'm like, "But I want to. I want to poop. Free me of this eternal torture where I also can't poop. Can't have the sweet release of toilet." Something. What circle of hell would that be? I'm just sitting watching a movie. Watching a movie I just don't particularly like. Or well, I don't like with a fever, like with an absolute fervor. And so you don't have 2 armrests, but instead you only have 1 arm because the devil decided that it would be more of a troll to give you 1 armrest than none. Yeah. Oh my god. Yeah, that sucks. That's awful. That's actually really fucking shit. Just the 1 armrest. Oh, but or someone's just using my armrest. Oh my god. The worst. I'm crafting my own hell. And Oh my god, you know what would be worse still, actually? It's not even in a theater. We're not even in a theater. I'm not even watching Hubie Halloween in a theater. I'm watching it on an airplane. Oh my god. This is the worst. Why am I doing this to myself? Allowing myself to talk about my personal torments and how the devil would effectively torture me for all eternity. That should be good enough. And a crying child as her mum tries to calm them down, and the mum smokes so it smells disgusting, and every time you ask the mum to keep a child from screaming, she yells at you like a banshee. Oh, and her mum is a full-blown Karen. That's honestly, I feel like that would get to a point where it's like it's escalated to such a degree that I'd just become a worse person, and I'd probably like lash out at the woman. And I don't think she can get angrier than I could, really, realistically, because I'm in my hell. So it's like, what's the worst thing that they can do to me? What's the worst punishment that they can do to me? You know, I'm like, I'm already in detention. What's the worst thing they can do? So I feel like it'd have to be stuff that's like only mildly frustrating, not absolutely awful. A woman was shouting at me. I think for the first 100 years, I'd be crying. I'd cry at the response, but after that, I'd be like, "Cool, I am going to shout back. I have grown as a person, but not in a good way." And I just shout at her. I'd make the baby cry. Mouse would fucking bang his head against the plane window for some peace and quiet. Absolutely. Fuck yeah, Oreo ST. Hold on. Bump it up. It's good. This is a really nice soundtrack. Gotta put it back to its like that. It's still a little bit higher than it was, but you know, general sound. I really ought to play Ori. Just to use bits and pieces to sleep. Ooh, that makes sense. It sounds really nice. I have used bits and pieces for like world building. Oh, and the woman sitting in front of hold on. The woman sitting in front of me on the plane has her hair over the chair, and her hair is covering the plane TV. That would actually be. Here's the thing. You like in real life, that would shit me. Like that would absolutely shit me. But if I were in hell, I'd be like, well, now I'm not watching Hubie Halloween. So it'd have to be. I think she would just be reclining. She'd be reclining into my knees. And she will have reclined into my knees so far that like her chair stops reclining. And then she'll look back, make eye contact with me, and I'll be like, yeah, those are my knees. And then recline further back. Or try to recline further back. And you may say, Raymouse, this is a very specific situation you're providing here for us. It's because it has actually happened to me. And I almost killed the person who, like, not actually, jokingly. Uh, I, I mean that I didn't jokingly almost kill this person, but I was ready to kill this person because they did that to me. How dare they? They didn't ask, they didn't They didn't apologize for like ramming into my knees or anything like that. They didn't, they weren't polite about it at all. They just reclined into my knees, continued to recline for a good minute, being aware that their chair was no longer reclining and it was just pushing into my knees. Then they turned around to look at what the issue was, made direct eye contact with me. I told them, yeah, those are my knees. I literally cannot move. And then they tried to recline further. What a fucking asshole. Yeah, exactly. So if I went to hell, I'd be reliving that. That's probably why I'd go to hell. Someone reclined into my knees and then I killed them. Oh, God. And the devil would be like, honestly, like, I get why you did it, but it is still murder, so you are going to hell. So, sorry. They'd be like, yeah, it's alright. Yeah, it's alright. I love the idea that, Mass, that's right, you're tall as fuck, so airplanes are awful for me. Yeah. I think I've talked to Fire Giggles about this, but it's like really disconcerting how tall I am. Like, I'm above average height, but I love that most people just naturally assume I'm tiny because I'm Grey Mouse Inc. Um, it's so funny. It's so funny. Like meeting people in person, and then people are like, "Whoa, you're a lot taller than I thought you would be." I know the mouse thing. The mouse thing makes it. People assume. People assume. Although, can you imagine if I was the size of a mouse and someone reclined into my so far that they went into my knees, and then continued? I'd be dead. I literally would have just died. Be a flat rat against an airplane seat. That's such a weird mental image. I have to draw that at some point now. Work tomorrow. Had a whole week off. Now I'm spoiled. Spoiled for no work. Felt good. For a time. Now it's time to return to work at the factory. Yeah, and I also think the last time I was on a plane, I was only 6'1". So now that I'm 6'2", I'm not looking forward to the fact that I'm flying a lot this year. Actually, flying next week. Speaking of, I may not be streaming at certain points next week. It should be fine because I should be back before then. But worst case scenario, I may not be available for some streams. But I'll keep you guys informed on the Discord. But it shouldn't be a problem. That being said, I will be flying this week. Mouse in the sky. That's me. That's me. Sky Mouse. Like a winged rat. But way cooler because it's technology and planes and shit. It's pretty cool. The dumbass. Get one person reclining into my knees at all in this year, where I am flying the most that I have ever flown in my life. I get please, gods or the universe, please do not do that to me. I don't want it. If I do, I will murder them, and then I'll have to go to hell where I watch Hubie Halloween for eternity. Please don't do that. Have I not been a sweet mouse to you, God? Do not do that to me. Just praying. Man, because it was such a shit situation. What an asshole that person was. Oh wow, we're almost done. With the flat colors, that is. Nothing else. By the gods, let the mouse have a peaceful flight with having a lot of room for himself. Yes, please. The gods, provide me with leg room. So much leg room. Plenty of leg room, if you will. As much leg room for this sweet, sweet mouse to stretch his legs. In a healthy and fine way. Because I got to fly very far. Multiple times. Very early in the morning. And if I'm flying early in the morning, I'm going to be tired. Not going to be able to get coffee. I just need that peace of mind knowing that I'm not going to be murdering someone on a plane because they dug their seat into my legs. Did it! Triumphant music brings us home. Yeah! That's the panel done. Not done. Flat. Flat colors are done. And that'll be a good place to leave today's stream, I think. Your stepdad is tall enough that when he was on a smaller plane, he had to kneel a bit for his head to have room. Jesus, that's rough. Otherwise, he would have to make his head go sideways to fit if he doesn't kneel. God, that would be rough. Mouse, what's the current song name? Let me check. Hold on. Jump back to it. Memories of Mother by Bear McCreary. Oh, it's a God of War song. That's why it sounded familiar to me too. I've been playing God of War. It's really good. I really have been enjoying it. Super good. A lot of fun. Let me check. It's just Agonizing Puddle. You're very welcome, Zombie Slayer. I'm glad to know that too. Okay. Now let's see who's streaming, so we can jump over to them. Let me check. I got one person basically who's recommended to me going and is live that I know of. It's Agonizing Puddle. He's great, but I'm trying to branch out and meet new streamers. And we should jump to an art stream as well. Let's see. A lot of art streamers. What, so you're just going to start the stream and leave us immediately after you start the stream? Potentially, yes. Hey, back to Twitch. Don't mind me, just doing research. Of people streaming. It's weird, it's one of those nights where it's like, I do not know anyone who is streaming. A little bit sad. I wonder. Actually, let me. Who's streaming Disco Elysium? Not many people. Oh, tragic. I'll have to stream it then. Myself. Jump to art. Let's jump to an art streamer. Really like this person's art. So Charles Lister. Alright, but everybody, really lovely having you all here. I really appreciate all the support and the chats. It's been really, really good, but I will see you all when I stream next, which should be relatively soon. I'll keep you all posted. Love you all. Bye.